Welcome back, everyone. This is not the usual video that you're expecting. UFC Paris picks will be coming soon, but listen, Rampage Jackson is completely delusional with this Raja Jackson situation, and he's trying to take zero accountability for a situation he partially caused. I'm going to get into all of that in this video. He's purposely misconstruing the story about what happened, lying about stuff. We'll be getting into that and more. Let me jump right into it. Rampage Jackson's been crying and bitching and moaning on his Instagram the past week since this Raja Jackson situation happened. If you don't know, Raja Jackson stormed a ring in the Knox Pro Wrestling event, and he brutally attacked Psycho Stu to an inch of his life. Psycho Stu's luckily alive, recovered, out of the hospital now. I wasn't going to make a video on this. I didn't feel right making a video about this last week. But now Rampage Jackson has really piqued my interest here. He's typing paragraphs out about this. So let me jump right in. Raja Jackson was announced for a Danger Pro Wrestling card. This was an obvious meme. This was an obvious joke by the company. A bad joke, poorly timed. But Danger Pro Wrestling was going for clicks, obviously. Raja Jackson's not appearing at a pro wrestling event after that happened, for sure. That was a joke. It was an obvious joke. It kind of got taken out of proportion a bit. People started acting like it was real. Oh my God, Raja's showing up to a pro. He's not showing up to a pro wrestling, guys. He was never showing up to another pro wrestling after he tried to kill Psycho Stu. That's off the picture. But Rampage Jackson posted this and says, "This has gone too far. I'm sick of being quiet and letting all the low IQ people fall for clickbait." He's been anything but quiet this past week, will I say. He's been claiming racism here and there, everywhere. "Yes, my son took things too far, and I'm pissed about him being a piece of shit and the way he handled it. But if Psycho Stu wasn't drunk and wouldn't have hit my son over the head with a real beer can while he was live streaming, Knox wouldn't have felt like they had to make things right by letting Raja get his get back in the ring. If my son would have just went to police with the beer can incident, the whole event would have got shut down and he could have sued." So let me dive into that a bit. So Rampage is already trying to paint Psycho Stu as a drunk. He'll go on later and say that he's done this before, attacked fans backstage and shit. He'll even lie about Psycho Stu hitting Raja behind his back. That didn't happen. All that and more. But listen, for him to already trying to paint Psycho Stu as a drunk in this situation, he's trying to divert the blame from Raja. "Oh, it was justified. He was a drunk guy that hit my son with a beer can, a real beer can. It was an empty beer can." I'm sorry, but hitting someone with an empty beer can does not constitute attempted murder. It's not on the same page. Especially when there's a video of said guy that hit Raja Jackson with a beer can apologizing and shaking his hand after it happened.
I'm gonna have you run in and fuck that motherfucker up in the match.
So first, they agreed to let him run in and fuck that motherfucker up in a match. That was their words. In a match. I feel like that's an important contextual piece of information here. Raja Jackson can fuck him up in a match.
You know, ready for that?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Right.
Hell,
talk to the president.
Yeah, if you can do that for me, I'll be cool.
Yeah.
If you do that for me, I'll be cool. I'll be cool. Sure, the apology, it had some stipulations to it. He's got to get his get back in the ring.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do
They
that.
shook
Hell
hands.
yeah. Have him run in on your shit. Your
Psycho
match.
Stu says, "Oh, you can run in on my shit."
Fucking seal
They
that.
shake hands.
Yeah.
They
Hey.
shake hands. Boom. There's a clear as day handshake. There's even another one in this stream, but I don't want to go and find the timestamp for that. They apologized multiple times. They said, "I'm sorry. Psycho Stu might be drunk, but he shook his hand and he did what he needed to do to make amends after he made a mistake, like hitting Raja Jackson with a beer can that was empty." The next part of this sad paragraph that I want to highlight is people actually think... Where is it? People actually think my son snuck in a ring in front of a live audience and picked Psycho Stu up without permission to be there. The permission isn't what matters. It's the fact that he saw he was unconscious, dove on him, 22 unanswered strikes. People are trying to drag him off. He's pushing them away and jumping back down. That was not part of the plan. I could assure you that's not part of the plan. It was staged. He was allowed to get in the ring and lay into him and give him a receipt. That might have been the double leg slam that he did. That was it. If he saw he was unconscious and he backed up, there would be no story here. Raja took it too far. He only shook his hand and accepted Psycho Stu's drunken apology. See, he's really trying to make a point of Psycho Stu being drunk. Like, that's why he's trying to paint his character as a drunk in this situation. Like, Psycho Stu did the appropriate thing after he made a mistake. He went up and he shook his hand, he apologized, and he made amends. I have witnesses that say this isn't the first time Psycho Stu has done something like this. Done some drunk shit backstage to a fan. So he's trying to make Psycho Stu a repeat offender here. He's trying to make Psycho Stu, oh, he's attacking fans all the time backstage he's hitting all these fans over the head with beer cans. Psycho Stu's crushing cans on people's head backstage. Now we have the backstory that my son attacked an innocent military vet with PTSD, like my son knew everything about the man that came up behind him and hit him, then asked him to sell it. A couple things to go over there. So we didn't know he was a war vet. We didn't know he had PTSD. There's some irony there that I will touch on later, but the part that I really want to talk about, my son knew everything about the man. They came up from behind him and hit him in the head, then asked him to sell it. I wouldn't have an issue with this, but there's such clear video evidence. They were face to face, Rampage. Why are you trying to make it seem like Psycho Stu sucker punched him? They were face to face when this situation happened. Raja's not turned around. He doesn't have his back turned to Psycho Stu. You can see clear as day he's facing Psycho Stu. So let me show you this.
Worried about Psycho Stu.
You don't know Psycho Stu?
Stu?
What, you don't know me?
Hell no.
They are facing each other. Raja looks to this guy sitting down right here. And then he looks to this guy with the cowboy hat, which is directly behind Psycho Stu. So listen, where is Raja Jackson turning his back to Psycho Stu here? I don't know why Rampage is trying to lie about this situation to make it seem worse than it is. Psycho Stu was face to face with him when it happened. It was a dumb choice to smash a empty beer can on his head. Sure, if Raja wanted to retaliate, this would have been when he got hit by the can. But this was not a sucker punch. He's facing directly towards him. They are face to face. Boom. He's facing him. He doesn't have his back turned. I don't know if he's just lying about this to make Psycho Stu seem like he deserved it more than he did. They apologized after this happened as well. I keep saying that, but they shook hands, man. That's a massive part of this situation for me. Raja Jackson was hit when he was turned around by this war vet. Let me just see one more time.
What, you don't know me?
What's the official quote? My son attacked an innocent military vet with PTSD. Like my son knew everything about the man that came up from behind him and hit him, then asked him to sell it. So this is Psycho Stu coming up behind Raja Jackson and hitting him in the face.
Me? Hell no.
He's behind Raja Jackson right now. You can see it. No, I'm joking, obviously. I have no idea where Rampage is. He's trying to lie about this situation. Like, we don't have HD video footage about everything. So why are you trying to change the facts? We know what happened. They are face to face. Let me continue, though. I have other kids to protect. Speaking of those other kids, he knew those other kids were going to college, but he knew Raja Jackson needed bail money. He said on stream 2 months ago, I'm saving up money for my Japanese kids, but I'm saving up bail money for Raja. Like, you as a father should have some hope in your kid. Maybe not say that in the public view, where Raja can see that too, and Raja's obviously going to feel some way about Rampage saying that about him. I'm not going to comment a bit more on his parenting. That's not what this video is about. But listen, Rampage, he does say his son should face the consequences for going too far. He didn't tell me anything about the storyline. But Psycho Stu is lucky I wasn't there when he hit my son over the head with a beer can the day after he got a concussion from sparring. So listen, Rampage Jackson is claiming he got a concussion from sparring the day before. There was a clip of the tornado kick that landed on Raja Jackson when he sparred. He got rocked, he got wobbled. I'm not saying he wasn't concussed. I'm just saying it's a bit ironic, a bit of a double standard that Rampage thinks, Raja Jackson didn't know he was a war vet. He didn't know he had PTSD. But somehow Psycho Stu's supposed to know that Raja Jackson has a concussion and you have to baby him and you can't touch him at all. He's at a pro wrestling event, obviously was invited, got in the face of a pro wrestler, minutes before a show started and was like, hell no, I don't know who you are. They're working a character at the time. He knew that. He knew what he was getting into. He got in the face of a pro wrestler, antagonized him, and got hit in the head with a real beer can. It was empty. It was not behind him, not a sucker punch, not anything. Raja Jackson knew what he was getting into. But for some reason, oh, we didn't know he was a war vet with PTSD, but he's supposed to know Raja Jackson had a concussion, and he can't touch him at all when he's getting in his face. He's literally in Psycho Stu's face in this video. I'm not justifying Psycho Stu hitting him with a beer can. I'm not. I will say that's a dumb situation. He probably was tipsy at the time. But that doesn't matter. They shook hands and apologized. That's where it ends. That doesn't mean you go in the ring and try to kill the dude. And listen, Rampage Jackson is just as much at fault here as anyone else in this situation. He's just as much at fault as that stupid guy with the cowboy hat that told Raja he can get a receipt on him. Nobody actually explained to Raja how far to go. So I will say there is event organizers with Knox that are also in the blame. But listen, Rampage to call up Raja after he saw that he got hit in the head with a beer can and to rile him up with remarks like,
did you get jumped by a bunch of dudes in tights?
You said what?
You got jumped by a bunch of dudes in tights. You was hugging on a dude in some damn tights.
Man, you shut the fuck up. I don't think you're saying niggas you hugging on some dudes in some booty shorts.
Of Rampage calling in a
I saw you hugging on your coach.
Other than getting Raja Jackson more hot than he was, more upset. That was the obvious point. He was trying to get Raja Jackson.
Watch. My dad can't never call me a bitch.
But Rampage doesn't get to avoid accountability now that he caused the situation slightly. He called up Raja and was like, oh, why was you hugging up on dudes in tights? Like, that's not going to get him more upset than he already is. And Rampage knew that he had a concussion. So for him to get in Raja's head like that, when he knew he had a concussion, Rampage is to blame. Not anyone else that didn't know Raja had a concussion. Psycho Stu didn't know he had a concussion. Not saying he's right to hit him in the head, but Rampage knew he had a concussion, and he willingly called up Raja Jackson after he saw he got hit in the head and riled him up to the point where he jumped in a ring and assaulted Psycho Stu to an ounce of his life. Rampage does not get to avoid accountability in this situation. I just wanted to highlight that. He's losing his shit on Instagram now. It doesn't really matter to me. Rampage should get the same blame as anyone else in this situation other than Raja. He should get the same blame as that cowboy hat dude. He should get the same blame as Raja Jackson's friend that brought him to that pro wrestling show. Raja Jackson's obviously the worst perpetrator in this entire situation. He's the guy that needs the most blame out of anyone. He tried to kill someone, but Rampage Jackson knew he was concussed, called him up after he got hit in the head with a beer can, and riled him up even more than he already was, instead of trying to cool him down. So, Rampage is at blame as much as he seems to think he isn't. He's definitely at blame here. That's all I wanted to make this video about. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, we'll be back here for UFC Paris picks coming today. So, make sure to watch out for that.